So we were cooking japchae today, and japchae is a savory glass noodles dish that's stir-fried with vegetables and meat that is popular in Korean cuisine. Japchae is served in restaurants along with other small dishes known as banchan, but it can also be eaten as a main dish. And japchae consists of glass noodles or sweet potato starch noodles, garlic, shallots, meat, vegetables, onions, bell peppers, spinach, and sesame seeds. I brought 10 cups of water to boil and then dropped my glass noodles in for about 10 minutes until it was done cooking. I used a pair of chopsticks to check its cook consistency and shut off the flame. Then I poured my noodles into a strainer in the sink and ran cold water on top of it to stop its cooking process, and grabbed a pair of scissors to cut the noodles into bite-sized pieces and set it aside to drain. I took out a cutting board, a knife, and a head of garlic. I want to peel off the skin of the garlic cloves and the shallots. When I am done with the skin removal, I am slicing or mincing the garlic and shallots and putting them back in the same bowl. This is the meat I'll be using today. It is marinated sliced beef rib. It is from the Korean market, and this is what it looks like on the side and surface. I heated up my wok on high flame and added in 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. I added in my garlic and shallots and started stir frying for 20 seconds. Then I added my beef in as well and continued to stir fry for 1 minute, and I stepped aside as I waited for my meat to cook. I took out my bell peppers and washed them, and then cut off the stem on top and cut it in half. I took out the insides and discarded it, then took a knife and started cutting the bell pepper halves into pepper strips, and I repeated this with all the peppers until I had a bowl full of pepper strips. Back to the wok with the garlic, shallots, and meat being cooked, I added the very vibrant bell peppers and continued stir frying them. I started to add in some sauces here. I added 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, as well as 1 teaspoon of white pepper. I continue mixing everything and stir frying it, and I added half a tablespoon of salt and continue stir frying for 1 minute. Once I am done, I shut off the flame and use the wok spatula to transfer everything into a separate bowl and set it aside for later use. At the moment, I washed the spinach as the glass noodles are being drained next to it inside the strainer. When I'm done with the spinach, I want to leave it in a strainer to let any excess water drip out. While I wait for that, I will bring 10 cups of water to a boil for my spinach. After 10 minutes, remove the lid and add all the spinach in. I took my chopsticks and mixed the spinach around as it cooks. I am basically blanching it for about 30 seconds, removing it off of the stove when I'm done and pouring it into a strainer. I ran cold water over the hot spinach to preserve its green color and stop the cooking process, and then set it aside for later use. I have my sesame seeds here. I am turning on a high flame for my pan and adding in the sesame seeds once the pan is hot. The goal is to toast the seeds to bring out its aroma and flavor to the maximum. I take my spatula and mix the sesame seeds around while it is cooking so that it does not burn. After 1 minute, shut off the flame and pour out the sesame seeds onto a plate for it to cool down, and we will use the sesame seeds at the very end. I take out 2 onions and place them on the cutting board. Then I take my knife and cut off the 2 ends of the onions and cut it in half vertically to help me peel off the skin easily. Then I cut all the onions into strips and place them back into the bowl. I turned the stove on to high flame and poured half a tablespoon of oil onto the hot pan. I tilted my pan to spread the oil evenly, and then I added the onions in and started stir frying them with a spatula. I cooked the onions for about 3 minutes and then I shut off the flame. I am now adding all the dishes that I set aside, including the glass noodles, spinach, meat, onions, bell peppers, garlic, and shallots from before into the wok, and my heat is on low flame. The heat is on low flame since we are done cooking everything and I am just assembling everything together. I am going to be adding more sauce here. So 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, and 1 teaspoon of white pepper again. The noodles are a bit heavy, so it is easier to mix everything together with 2 utensils. So I am using chopsticks and a wok spatula together. I add in sesame seeds at the very end and then mix the noodles slightly. The japchae is ready to be eaten and enjoyed. And we're done with our japchae. I hope you try out this recipe as well and you like it as much as I do. Thank you for watching and have a good day.